Snowbirds. I want to welcome you to my live call tonight. And it's with a question tonight, that how do you get to six figures? For those of you that don't know me, I've been involved in network marketing now for 40 years. I started in this business totally broke, sold a junk truck to get started. And so for the last almost 27 years now, actually it is 27 now, I've been full-time in network marketing. So if that interests you and you want to learn how to do that, stay on this call. I was trying to think of different titles. There was different titles, and I was like, what do you call this? And I thought, okay. At first I thought about, are you wanting to earn 10K, then quit working for minimum wage, or do you want to earn $10,000 a month, then quit throwing $10,000 a month away? Do you want to make $10,000 a month, then quit working for less than minimum wage? You can't put all that in a title. So then I just thought, hey, if you want to get to six figures, find out. I don't know. So, but that's what I want to talk about tonight. I hope you caught my live last night. I talked about the three S's. That what network marketing is. That it's simply a distribution, a way of distribution for products and services. That's all it is. But that's not what makes it work. It's the force behind it. And it's the reasons and why people do it. And I talked about the three different processes, or the process that has three different stages, I think is the way to say that. And that is, we go from we went to step one, and that is, hang on just a second. It's not working tonight. There it is. Okay, sorry. Anyway, so we go from sustenance, that is, we want to pay the bills, and once we focus, nail that down, then we go to success, and that's where we've worked our business so hard that now we have the lifestyle we've always wanted. Third is significance, which doesn't benefit you, it benefits others, whereas the other two stages benefit you. And so in significance, we find out that it's really all about contribution, what we're looking to do in network marketing. It's all about giving, not getting. So I talked about that last night. The thing is, now this is the last month of this year, right? So now, again, the speed that you end this month, that you end this month is the speed that you begin the new year with. And if you don't focus on your business, if everybody just checks out, what's going to happen in January is going to take you a whole month to wake up your team. And you're going to hate it. You're going to hate it. That doesn't mean you don't take time off and have fun. But to check out is another thing, And that's what I don't recommend you do. So, tonight, talking about this very subject, about getting to six figures, there's one key area that we have to do, and there's psychology behind all this, okay? There's psychology, why things turn out the way they do with people in network marketing. Why is it some do so well and then some struggle? I mean, if you look at 7-figure earners or 6-figure, 7-figure, whatever you want to say, people who are making good money in network marketing, okay? Some are tall, some are short, some are skinny, some are fat, some are women, some are men, some are black, some are white, some are Chinese, some are good looking, some are not so good looking, okay? What's the key? Why? What is it? Okay, well, here's one thing I'm going to share. Okay, again, there's a few things, obviously, that will help us to achieve success. But there's no question about it. But if you want to make $10,000 a month, you got to quit throwing $10,000 a month away every month. And you may think, well, that's just the craziest thing I've ever heard of, Jeff. I don't have $10,000 a month to throw away. I differ with you on that. I think you do. And just stick around, okay? I mean, you may think, shoot, I mean, I don't have any money to throw away at all. But here's the thing. Let me ask you a question. And that is this. You might say that you don't have that. But we've heard this, and you've heard this before many times, that time is money. Would you agree time is money? That time is money. What value do you put on your time? How much time do you actually waste? And when you do show up in the business, is it really income-producing activity that you're involved in? Or is it not? And we find ourselves surfing on Facebook. We find ourselves chit-chatting on the phone. We find ourselves trying to convince certain people in our downlines that they need to do this business, and they don't share that feeling. But we just want to keep spending our time trying to convince them that they need this. See, those are the things that we can think about, and I'll give you some action steps here in a second. But my question to you then is, what are you doing with this time? What are you doing with it? And remember, if you want to earn $10,000 a month, here's the key. Write this down, carve this down. If you're next to somebody and you don't have paper, write it on the back of their shirt, okay? If you want to make $10,000 a month, you need to start treating your time as if you already do. That's the only way you're going to get there. If you want to be a 6-figure income earner, you got to start treating your time as if you're already a 6-figure income earner. Get that in your head. Get that in your head. So when we start viewing our time like that, then we start viewing things differently. So, let's just say whether you're part-time or you're full-time, it really doesn't matter. I find that part of that full-time people are really treating their time as the same amount of time as a part-time person. They're just spending their time doing other things they want to do. That is have fun, right? Nothing wrong with that. But I think, and again, this message is not for the 80%ers, okay? This message is for those people who want to earn a 6-figure income one day in network marketing, and then get it beyond that too as well. That's what this message is for. So the thing is, let's just say that, and since you are one of those, would it be fair to say that if you treat your business seriously, maybe you were like me, maybe you put 20 hours a week in. That is, I put in more time on the weekends because I was just laser focused on wanting to get my business up and running and get out of the job that I was in. I wanted to go full-time in network marketing. That was my dream. And so what I would do was every night I would come into my home after working all day, and then I would put 2 hours a day. Come in tired, yes, eat dinner, go down the hallway with a cup of coffee, close the door, make phone calls. And that's what I did. I reached out to people. And whether you're sending people links or it doesn't matter, what the process of whatever system you're using is the system you're using. The question is, are you using it? And are you using it enough? And so if you were like me, and I was, then 2 hours a day, you figure, that's, like 10 hours a week. And then I would, on the weekends, I would, double up my efforts. So I was putting in about 20 hours. So the thing about it is, if you think about it in terms of that, and we're talking about 80 hours a month average, 80 hours a month average. Again, this is for people who are serious about going full-time network marketing, becoming six-figure, income earners. This isn't for thumb-sucking babies. If you treat your time, you got to talk about 80 hours a month, then basically you're making 120. If you divide that into 10,000, you're making $125 an hour. That's the value you're going to have to put on your time. If you want to make $10,000 a month, you got to start treating your time as if you already earn $10,000 a month. Go into a doctor, a lawyer, and see if they got time to chit chat when they're doing their practice. They don't have time for chit chat because they understand, man, I can only make so much money because from the time I come in the office till I leave, that's the only time I got. They know their numbers and they know that's all they're going to make. Now, outside of that, they just need to put their money in investments if they want to increase their income and their net worth. And all I'm saying for you is that if you want to earn $10,000 a month, you're going to have to treat it like as if you already do. And if you already do, and let's say you average out 20 hours a week in your efforts to do that, then you're going to understand you're making $125 an hour. Now, having said that, why is that important? Because again, you'll never get to $10,000 a month if you don't do this. And that's one of the secrets of becoming a six-figure income earner. Because when you look and talk to six and seven-figure earners, they're very careful about their time. They really are. They want to be smart about their time. They want to be very strategic about their time. So they plan it out well. And again, most of them, and a lot of people out there, what they do is they're earning minimum wage, and even less than that. That's for those of you in other countries. That means basically you're a little over $10 an hour. The secret here is treating your time differently. Now here's some action steps, and that is this. Number one, when you begin your day, and you can do it the night before if you want, but when you begin your day, maybe you might want to start getting out a day timer and start writing it out in increments if you want. What are you going to do every 15 minutes, 30 minutes? I don't know. Write down what do you need to do? What are you going to do with your time? Are there people that you need to prospect? Are there people that you need to follow up on? People that you need to sponsor? Anybody that you sponsored that you're onboarding, you want to make sure that they know what they need to know in order to hit the floor running. Maybe you've got have to schedule three-way calls with those people. Those are things that you can put into your time. And even personal development. If you want to spend 15 minutes listening to an Anthony Robbins audio program, if you want, you can do that as well. You have to decide what you're going to do at that time. But just understand, time is money. And so you may not have the money, but you do have the time. And you're never going to have the money if you don't do the right activities in that time, income-producing activities. So again, if we want to make $10,000 a month, we got to treat our time as if we already make $10,000 a month. And guess what? It scales up. It really does. Because as you start earning more, you start getting more strategic about your time, what you're going to do with your time. And it'll go into other areas. So that's step one, is start scheduling out your time on your day timer in increments. Don't just leave the day to whatever happens, because that means nothing's going to happen and you just lost a lot of money that day. So now here's number two. So you're going to get phone calls from people. They're going to be your friends, okay? Nothing wrong with talking to friends. But here's the thing. If you want to get to a six-figure income, you're going to have to get laser focused at some point in time in your business. And then you're going to understand that you're not going to be able to talk to your drinking buddies, your golfing buddies like you did. That's right. Or leaders in your team that call you up and they just want to chit chat. You know, and if you got some in your team that you love, and I have some like that, I love them to death, and they have the gift of gab. You know what I mean? And I know what it means because if I get on the phone with them, 30 minutes, 45 minutes could go by. And so the best way to handle that and keep a relationship strong is just say, hey, Lori, hey, nice hearing from you. Hey, I got to jump on a call in a few minutes. I got maybe 5 minutes. What's up? Nice to hear from you. So you've already told them you got to exit in 5 minutes, okay? So just manage your time. When people call, they reach out to you, understand that is all a distraction. That's really all it is. It's to distract you from your goals. Now, I don't think they're intentionally trying to hurt you. I'm just saying that's what it is, and you got to see it that way. And so maybe you don't even take their phone calls. Maybe you let it go to voicemail. Then what you do, you send them a text message later on. Hey, sorry, missed your call. I want to catch up with you later. Just a little busy with things going on in my business right now. I'm focused right now. I got a lot of stuff going on. It'll lighten up later on. We'll get together. So that's all you got to do. When you get that chance, send them that text message. So here's 3 that when you prospect people, here's what I want you to do. When you are prospecting, presenting people, how are you bringing them in your business? I'm talking about how do you some people just want them in. Let's say that all is required in your compensation plan is 100 points or $100, whatever you want to call that, okay? And then some people think, I just want to get them in. 100 points, no big deal. I just want to get them in. That's working for minimum wage. If you want to be a 6-figure income earner and you're treating your time as if you're already earning 6 figures, you don't bring them in at 100 points or $100. That's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it. Does your company have a package? If so, look at those packages. I'm not saying front end load them with a lot of product. Okay, not saying that. Here's the principle. Let me give you the principle, okay? And sure, we're talking about money, but I'm going to give you an additional reason, and the reason is going to be the principle. But then it also makes sense in treating your time with respect, okay? So let's just say you have a company, and in your company, you have your top 10 products, right? The most purchased products in the United States or around the world, and this is what they are. What does that mean? That means that of all the products you have in your line, that's what people like the most. Number one, you pay attention to that. When you onboard somebody, when you're bringing somebody in, is it a woman? Okay, and if so, okay, there's the products that will obviously appeal to her. You already know what that is. But is she married? Okay, then what about her husband? What products would appeal to him? What's popular in your top 10 that would appeal to a man? Also, do they have children? Do you have products for kids or products that families can engage in? See, what you want to do is you want to give a picture of what your company is about. And if you're only selling one product or maybe 2, they don't have that picture. You onboarded them with an order. They still don't know what your company's about. They still don't know. And if they can afford, let's say for an example, a $400 purchase or 400-point purchase, whatever you call that, and you can include those other products so that when they get those products, they get a very clear picture of what your company's all about. How great your products are. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like that. However, if you onboarded them just for one product or 2 products, okay, they have a very narrow vision of what your company's all about, and there might be a chance that you won't get them the next month. They won't stay on AutoShip. That wasn't the product that floated their boat. And on the other hand, while you might have been onboarding the woman, it was actually the husband, the products that he got, and he thought, man, this is really a great company. And the wife's going, really? Yeah. Now he's supportive and all that. So that's the biggest reason why you don't need to bring people in with a small order when you're onboarding them. And if you're treating your time right, again, if you want to get to $10,000 a month, you got to start treating your time as if you're all get that right. If you're all, it's a long day. If you're already, as if you're already earning $10,000 a month. And so, for example, instead of making, if you onboarded them, let's say your compensation plan paid 25%. I'm just throwing that number out. Quick start, whatever you want to call it. Rapid reward, whatever you call it. But if you brought them in for $100, congratulations, you made 25 bucks. How much time did you spend with that person? How much time are you going to spend training, onboarding that person? It's all time. And time is what? It's money. It's money. And you want to make $10,000 a month based on 20 hours a week working in a month's time. That's $125 an hour. You don't need to bring them in for 100 points or $100. You need to bring them in with a package that will give them the best concept, best picture of what your company's all about. And so in doing that, then instead of making 25, now you're making 100 for that order in bringing them in. See, that's the way you have to do it. And I see some people, they just want to go for the minimum, go for what's, just the 100 points is all you need to qualify for your commission. So therefore, when we onboard people, we only do it for 100 points or $100. That's just doesn't make sense. So that's the other step. That was step 3. Step 4 is delegate. You got to learn how to delegate. If you want to make $10,000 a month, you got to start treating your time as if you already do. That means, it reminds me of one day, my assistant, she was at the house and she said, "Hey, I need you to go to the store and get something." And I looked at her, I said, "What?" I said, "No, I don't do that." I said, "Do you know how much that would cost me?" Now keep in mind, my income, and the time I divide into that income, you have no idea what that is per hour, okay? So therefore, anybody that reaches out to me for a task, I'm always asking myself, am I willing to trade that money, for that? Am I willing to trade my time for that? What is this going to cost me? And that's what I said to her. I said, "Do you know what that would cost me if I did that?" So I want you to get good at possibly, and I'm talking about this doesn't have to always be this way. I'm saying if you want to get to 6 figures, if you really want to get there, you're going to have to treat your time differently because you're wasting too much time. And so therefore, talk to your spouse, get some spouse support, maybe some things that you did, the family can do. You can have a family meeting on this. Talk about this, but delegate it. I mean, I love to go out into the gardens. I love that. I got hundreds of perennial English roses here, hydrangeas, just perennials everywhere. I love getting out, and I'll go out and just clear my head, walk around, and But I used to spend a lot of time keeping my hands in the dirt, working gardening, and all that. I love that stuff. And nothing wrong with that. But for me to spend my time doing that, I'm always asking myself, what's that going to cost me? What is that going to cost me? And so think about it in those terms. And so, like, for example, if you were always, let's say you're a man, and you always cut the grass and you take care of that. Is it possible there's a boy down the street that likes to earn some extra money? And you could pay him a little bit to get that done, and you could take that time now and use that for your business. See, what is it costing you? What is it costing you? You can't make $10,000 a month if you're throwing $10,000 a month away. You can't do it. You got to start treating your time differently and ask yourself, when somebody is asking you to do something, ask yourself, What is it going to cost me, and is it worth it? Now, if your children are sick and they need to see a doctor, you don't need to ask that question. You need to get in the car, get them down there right away, okay? So don't take me wrong on this, okay? But I'm talking about non-emergencies, and people are trying to take your time. It's up to you. It's up to you if you want to become a six-figure income earner. But delegate, and that's the thing that you want to think about, is delegate that out. So here's the other thing, and this is the fifth, is team support as well as versus prospecting. So when you use your time, especially if you don't have a team that is really on the move, okay, and you're still trying to get it going, then you're going to have to spend the majority of your time prospecting. Don't babysit. Don't babysit. I've seen this all the time where people just keep calling their downlines and they try to, convince them, hey, let's do something this month. You need this. Your kids need this. You said you wanted a better house and all that. And you spend so much of your time trying to convince. Remember this. You cannot create desire. They either have it or they don't. And that just means they're not ready now. That doesn't mean that they won't be ready later. But the best thing you could do is this: ignore them and go get a new team. I have a leader who did that, and she did that, man. She's awesome. The first original team was nothing but a bunch of babies. Now, I'd say most of them. A few were not, but most of them. And man, did they tie up her time. Always complaining. Always, it's never good enough. Don't have enough. And it frustrated her. She wasn't happy. She was absolutely miserable. And that's what I told her. I said, you know what you need to do? Go get a new team. Go get a new team. And that's what she did. I said, you go get a new team. What it'll do is it'll make that other team jealous. They'll start thinking, wow, she doesn't love me anymore. She doesn't give me her time anymore. That's right. And she did it. She created a whole new team. Team is doing awesome. Some of those, a few from the other team woke up and started engaging with the right attitude, doing exactly what she's been asking for a long time. And now it's a totally different situation. So again, the fifth step here is where you're going to spend your time. So if you're trying to get your business going and it's not going yet, you're going to have to spend 100% of your time on prospecting. Prospecting, following up, and then sponsoring people, and then onboarding them with your training. That's what you're going to have to do. 100% of your time. If you're not doing that, you're wasting your time. If you're not doing that, you're never going to become a six-figure income earner in network marketing. Again, you want to make $10,000 a month, quit throwing $10,000 a month away and start treating your time as if you're already earning $10,000 a month. Based on a 20-hour work week, 20 hours average for people that are serious part-time, then that's $125 an hour, right? So whatever you're doing with your time, just understand that's what it's costing you every hour. Every hour. There goes another 125. There goes another 125. So who are you scheduling in? Where are you spending that time? Who are you spending that time with? Is it productive? Or is this babysitting? If it's babysitting, it's a waste of time, go get a new team. They'll wake up if you do. They'll wake up if you do. People sometimes come into this business emotionally needy. Just emotionally needy. Didn't get enough love from their mother. And then they come in this profession and that's it. It's got to be all about them. All about them. And they want your time. So just understand that. Don't do it. So, and so let's say that you start, and I'm saying 100% of your time is going to go to prospecting, following up, sponsoring people, and onboarding them. 100% of your time is going to go to that. But then that's going to change. It's going to scale differently. It's going to scale differently. Then once you identify some people who are serious, they're drivers, then you want to give them a percentage of that time. So you might spend 70% of your time now prospecting, and follow up and sponsor and then onboarding. And the other 30%, you're giving that as team support. You're spending time talking to those leaders, working with those leaders, doing Facebook Lives, any kind of training, things like that. Whatever it is that you're doing, or venue meetings, whatever that is. And then eventually you're going to get your team, once you got enough drivers in place, for you to reach the very top of your compensation plan, you're eventually going to go to 100% of your time is going to go to support. It's going to be training your leaders, and that's where your time's going to go, 100% of it. Mine's been that way. I've been, and keep in mind, even when you do, that doesn't mean, because there'll be others that will tell you, no, you should never stop prospecting and sponsoring. They're right, but I don't do it the way they do it, okay? When I prospect and sponsor, and then I'm working with other leaders in those lines. I'm helping them with a leader that they have that they've onboarded. And so I'm helping them with that leader. So I never stop that activity, but 100% of your time, yes, will go to onboarding at that time. And I'll tell you what, once you reach that point in your business, yeah, you're going to be exactly where you want to be. You will be a six-figure income earner because you treated your time differently. You treated it as if you were already earning it. And so you were treating it with respect. And then, the last one, and that's step 6, the 6th step, and that is get your people to do the same. Everything I just told you, you tell them. Everything that you're doing here that I suggested, you tell them that too. That's what they have to do. If they want to become a six-figure income earner, then they're going to have to start treating their time as if they're already earning it. And if they're throwing it away, they got to stop it and start scheduling it and prioritizing what goes in that time. And what goes into that time is income producing activities. That makes sense. That makes sense, right? Okay, great. So I appreciate so many. Hey, Kim, nice to see you. I appreciate so many of you being on tonight. Now I've got to get on a call with a team in the Philippines. And then I got to pack so I can get up very early in the morning and fly out to Florida with the family, go to the Date with Destiny, Anthony Robbins. I'll give you some shout outs. So my schedule for the next 6 days is going to get disrupted in a big way, but I'm going to be, as much as I can, throwing out value, and I hope we can connect. Appreciate all of you. Ciro in Salt Lake City. Now here's a guy right there, Ciro. You see him right there? He's laying in a bed in the hospital, and he's on this Facebook Live. Do you think he's serious about learning how to earn 6 figures? That's right. I know for a fact he's on a hospital bed right now watching this live call. Amazing. Maria, thanks. Good seeing you, Rick. Kim, thank you. All of you. Tracy, everyone, all of you for getting on this call tonight. Everyone, have a great night.